thought I better do it before I forget.
Yeah.
How is everybody? All right?
Yes, thank you. Yeah. I'm glad to see the rain to, get the garden growing, but it's not so much fun when you've got to be out in it.
No. We sort of seem to have lost our summer all of a sudden, don't we?
Yeah. David messaged me earlier. Him and Kat are going to the Isle of Wight. They were in the queue for the ferry.
Oh, right.
They're going for a few days in a yurt in a field. So I thought typical lovely weather for it. He doesn't really know. It's a bit of a surprise. He knows they're going, and he knows they're going camping. But that's all he knows. What he doesn't know is that Kate's booked this Kat, she says, booked this luxury yurt with a bathroom and proper bed and everything in it. He thinks he's going.
Oh, nice. All right. Oh, well, it'll be a nice surprise for him then.
Well, yeah, definitely, especially in this weather.
Yeah, decent bed and a bathroom.
Yeah. How are you doing, Gordon? You faffing about still?
I'm just. You can hear me, can't you?
You're quiet. Just about hear you.
Some people prefer it that way, but
you upset him now. He's gone off.
He's run away.
the last week since Thursday, I've had square eyes watching TV.
Yeah, yeah. Sad, isn't it?
There's a bit of a shit week, isn't it?
Yeah. Such a surprise, because when she met the Prime Minister on Tuesday, I know she looked frail, but she didn't come over as being ill, did she? I mean, she was all dressed and had her shoes on and everything, and
her hands were black, which is usually not a good sign, is it?
Oh, right.
Yeah, mind you, look at me. Can you see my?
Oh, what? Yeah, what have you? Oh my God, what have you been doing?
Tattoo, innit?
Have you been attacked?
Gardening. I don't quite know what happened. I don't know where that went.
That's a huge one, isn't it?
The huge one, and it was painful. But I think I did it on Thursday. I was parked in the supermarket, and a car pulled up and parked right tight to mine. I could just about get the door open to get back in. I went off, did my shopping, and waited, but nobody moved it. Sorry, it wasn't in the supermarket, it was in the community centre over the road. And in the end, I thought it was no good. I got to try and get in. I tried to get in from the passenger side, but because of my knees and the fact that I couldn't get my legs up over the console very elegantly, I gave up that idea. So I squeezed in, and that arm just caught side of the seat, and my bottom as well. My hip, I've got a nice bruise, but I'm not showing you that one.
No, please, not this early.
It's a family show, you know.
That happened to me once. Somebody parked so close, I couldn't even get the door open. They were that close, and I had to climb in, get in this passenger side and climb over, and it's not easy.
It's not easy at all, especially when you've got
understand people so inconsiderate, aren't they?
I know. And I went away for half an hour and did a bit of shopping and thinking, oh well, they'll come back and move it. But no. Anyway, that's how I got the route.
Survived.
I survived.
You didn't key them then on the way out?
No.
Yeah.
I wasn't too careful with the door though, getting out, getting in.
Mental note: don't park near Dave if you're out.
No, I'm all mouth.
Can I say hello now?
I'll just let you air out your tires.
Was that Anne I heard then? Hi, Anne.
That fourth time I've tried.
Oh, right.
Morning, everybody.
Morning. That sounds better.
Yeah, I'm a bit hungover and worn out, but otherwise.
Oh, is this from the wedding?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
It was lovely. We had a lovely.
That was 3 days ago.
I know.
One ain't have a hangover, innit?
That's it. Well, yeah, you don't mean to say I've stopped drinking.
Ah,
No, it's more knackered basically.
yeah.
Yeah,
But yeah, no, we're fine. We had a
you had a
lovely
good time.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah,
Good.
it was good.
Yeah.
That's it then. I'll go now.
Singing
Yeah.
and dancing.
You look really lovely, Anne. I loved your outfit.
Thank you. Yeah, I hadn't realised when I bought it that it actually matched the suits, didn't it?
It was perfect. I thought, wow, how coordinated can you be?
I know. It was the only one that fitted, really. It was just luck. The funny thing, though, Chris, you'll know this. Angie's daughter got married the week before,
Yeah.
and Angie recommended the shop I went to. And when I was talking to her, I said, "Well, what did you choose then, Angie?" This is last week, and she
Yeah.
said, "Oh, I had a white dress with navy blue flowers painted on it." I went, "No,
Oh,
we both had the same dresses,
was it the same dress?
but not the same wedding, thankfully."
Oh, that
No.
was a bit of luck, then.
Embarrassing.
Yeah,
Um,
hilarious.
Is-
I've yet to see her, and we're going to meet up for coffee and share photos.
You obviously share shots as well.
Luckily, not the same wedding.
No.
That's
No.
the good thing about buying stuff online. The odds of someone buying the same is a lot less risky, isn't it?
Yeah, that's true.
It doesn't happen very
Right.
often, though, does it? I mean, all the weddings that everybody's been to, I've never come across anybody with the same dress on. But
My
No, I've
sister-
never done it, luckily, but that was a bit close.
My sister was getting a dress for their son's wedding. No, it wasn't. It was a grandson's wedding. And the one that she liked, Tony, her husband, he said, "Oh no," he said, "it looks like blinking wallpaper." He said, "It looks like old-fashioned wallpaper." She really liked it. Anyway, so she decided against it and got something else. When she got to the wedding, the bride's mum was wearing that dress.
Oh,
That was close as well.
So thank goodness she didn't get
lucky
it.
escape.
Yeah.
kaboom.
But she said all the time they were looking, all the photos, all she
Yeah.
could think about was Tony saying it looks like wallpaper. Hey,
It was
yeah,
good.
could have been
Huh.
very, very embarrassing.
Mm. Mm.
Joyce isn't coming this morning.
Is she not?
No, she's feeling a bit low.
Oh,
She's got dentist this afternoon. A long and expensive appointment.
oh dear.
Oh.
I saw it's a bit deja vu, really, after because
I was
last
gonna say,
week
you were back last Tuesday.
I was saying nothing, but inside I was quaking my boots, like, you know. I've got a flipping massive hole in the side of my gob.
Mm.
But you survived.
Couple of molars gone. Actually, I'm sure she's left bits behind. I can feel sharp edges in there.
Oh.
Not unusual. They usually, the body rejects it, and it pushes it out.
Yeah.
Usually takes about 2 years to do it. Though. Well, you'll be eating away, and all of a sudden you think, "Oh, what's that crunch? What the hell's that? Bit of filling? Oh, it's a piece of tuff come out, you know." Well, it pushes it out, doesn't it? It gradually rejects it.
Yeah. That's true.
But I've got my next appointment is in Touchwood, is in March, 6 months. So hopefully, yeah.
Mhm.
You're all right.
Get her tweezers out and pull something out. I've had it before, loads of times before. Sometimes you think, Christ, it's my jaw. It's hanging out. The bone is coming through.
Oh,
Best not to whatever you do, you never Google anything to do with health.
No,
Oh.
it's not a good idea.
Well, it was a heads up yesterday because the next door Somerford, which is this sort of area, Purewell Somerford, someone put, "Oh, what's the situation with COVID boosters? So and so got one at the Barnes surgery," and I thought, they must be doing it. So I just went on the NHS site and booked all 3 of us for tomorrow.
really? We can't
Yeah.
get any.
If you're
And
over,
then you
over 65, you just go on the NHS
Website.
and you can, there's a thing there to book it.
Try again. And
Well, Dave, did you book is that the 4th one or the 5th one?
The what they call the seasonal booster.
Yeah,
the autumn one.
the autumn one.
It's
Yeah.
on the NHS website. It says blah blah blah, and it says seasonal booster.
Oh, that didn't come up on ours.
It will on the NHS website.
I'm going to
Okay.
get on the other computer and have a look at that
Yeah.
and make a cup of tea while I'm there.
Right.
All you
Morning.
need- you just
Carol.
need
Morning,
your
Carol.
NHS numbers.
Morning.
Morning, Carol.
Morning.
Hello,
can't-
Carol, hello.
I couldn't get in. Oh God!
Oh.
I had to log out. I had to turn off the computer and start the iPad and start again.
We
Oh, I've been rushing around this morning. Right.
waited patiently.
Oh dear. How's everybody?
Fine, thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
Good, thanks.
Just talking boosters.
Oh yeah, I was trying. What did we have to do? Oh dear.
Just go
I
on
was
the
trying to
NHS.
get. Yeah, I was trying to get into my NHS account. I've forgotten the password.
No,
I've
you
got
don't
one.
need any of that. You don't
No.
need
Oh,
any of that.
what
If
do
you
I
just
do then?
Google COVID booster, you'll go onto the NHS website,
Right.
and all you need, you flick down and say seasonal booster. There's one of the
Right.
sections there.
And on you go.
You click that, yeah, you just need your NHS number, and
I didn't even put my number in, Dave, because I didn't have it handy, and I thought I'm not logging out again.
Oh,
So
right. So when have you
Yes.
got yours then?
I didn't even log in.
Hmm.
I just went on the website, I should say. Anyway, I booked mine. I could have had it much sooner, but I booked it for the 28th, a couple of weeks, because I didn't want to, if I had any after effects, I didn't want them just at the moment. That week is a pretty
Right.
safe week.
Right.
In
Yeah.
seasonal
Yeah.
booster,
Have you
COVID.
booked yours, Pauline?
No.
Oh, bless you. Have you not got used to them yet?
No.
Oh,
It's only just
bless.
come live anyway.
Yeah. Plenty of time. Give it
I'm
a couple of years.
I'm a bit concerned about what vaccine they're using, because I've
I
only
know
had,
there's a bit of discrepancy, isn't there, about
yeah, because I've only had Pfizer.
Aren't they putting a new bit in it? What they've altered it, haven't they? So it covers this other
Yeah.
strain.
I don't know.
Because people that have been
Okay.
getting COVID, like my neighbours, they all had the injections. They felt quite poorly.
Yeah.
And I think, oh, it must be. I don't know. But anyway.
Oh, it ain't that much worse than having a bloody 2 teeth out.
Oh no. How did you get on?
Oh, it was a laugh.
Oh, was it? I'm sure.
I was
Now that-
lying there, and she she took the really big one out and showed me that this thing is like something I dug out of the garden. It was massive. Bloody 3 roots coming out like this.
Oh.
I said that's more like something off of Harry Potter. Anyway, and she started doing the other one and left a bit of root in, and she said, "I'll come back to that in a minute. Just have a breather. How you feeling? All right? We'll come back next week. Have 2 more out."
Oh,
I
dear.
hear that, and then I said, "Well, in actual fact, I garbled. I was so chuffed about this. I'm coming back next week to have 2 the other side out and match up." And I thought that was a bloody idiot thing to say. Talk about careful what you wish for.
Oh dear.
Actually, to be quite honest, once they stick the local anesthetic, can't even say it. But I can't. Once they put that thing in, you can't feel bugger all anyway.
No.
It's just a bit of tug and doodah, isn't it? And you
I'd
can
rather have a tooth out than have an injection.
Oh, Paulie.
I know. I've
Well, they
just
don't.
got a fear of them.
Oh.
And yet, an injection in your mouth, that doesn't bother me so much.
Oh, I think
It's
that's
in
more
my arm.
painful in your
I
arm.
don't, just makes me sort of, whoa.
Oh dear.
Yeah, she's stuck. What's that one? It wasn't so bad. It didn't make my mouth go numb. You know, like normally you look.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I think, yeah.
Dribbling for the rest of the
some other
day.
stuff. Local anaesthetic, because it didn't do any of that.
Mm.
They must use extraordinary pliers to do it.
Mm.
Special things, because once they grip it old, it's like.
Yeah, it doesn't take
No.
long, does it?
No.
Surprising.
Yeah. And then you hear people like Mel's dad was saying, "Oh, last time I had it, he had to put his knee on my chest to yank it out."
Oh gosh.
And I'm thinking, Christ, I've had loads of teeth. I've never heard of that.
Oh.
So I'll have a chat with a dentist because I can't really, because it's not a pull, is it? It's, they
They
do
sort of push, don't they?
well,
I
they
don't
wiggle it
know.
loose first and wiggle
Yeah.
it out.
Yeah.
And
It's the
this-
wisdom teeth, isn't it? I've had 2 of those out. One was quite horrible.
Yeah,
I had to go into hospital and have that done. I couldn't eat. I had all bruises around my mouth and down here. And I think they had to cut it, my mouth. I couldn't eat or anything for about a week.
sounds like they took your head
I
off.
pulled
and
out
put it
my
back
own
on.
wisdom tooth.
Well, mine was impacted, so it was that way. So they had
Yeah.
to, that wasn't
Oh,
very
yeah.
pleasant afterwards. But anyway.
Yeah,
All my
'cause they-
teeth were very loose. That's because of the medication I took for years for the kidney
Mm.
disease. And
oh yeah, remember you saying.
yeah, and my wisdom tooth, I didn't even realise it was a wisdom tooth at the time, but that was really loose and I can't blimey. And I pulled it out myself.
Oh
Oh my
gosh.
God.
Just with my fingers and a bit of tissue, nearly choked.
Oh my
'cause
God.
I had a
Oh
tissue.
god.
I
Oh
just-
no.
They were so loose. Anyway,
Everyone watching this preamble on
Yeah.
online is going to be going
Oh,
yeah,
dear.
yeah.
Mm.
Well, that's funny.
fast forward
Lovely.
at this moment in time.
Yeah.
So
Who was just this?
That's mine.
That's
That's
lovely.
that
really
Carol
good,
Wellman.
yeah.
Really nice.
Yeah.
That's all right, isn't it?
Yeah, very nice.
Mm.
Oh,
They
thank
look-
you.
those yellow ones look a bit like those ranunculus. You know the.
Who?
oh, forget it. They look lovely.
Oh, thank you. Well, I didn't have much time because I've been glued to the television watching all
I
this
I know.
history being made, and I think, oh God, I got to get this painting done. So I
I
sat
did
down
mine
and did
yesterday
it.
afternoon, so don't worry. Yeah, no, it's really
Lovely.
What's happened to me screen? Oh, my screen froze then for that. I put a little frame round there.
Oh, it looks nice. Thank you.
really
But I
delicate.
use gouache paint. I've treated myself to a nice tin of paint. So yeah, it's nice to paint with. It was easier actually.
Yeah, they're stronger, aren't they?
Hmm.
I thought, oh, I'll treat myself to a couple of tubes of paint, and I was going for the Japanese stuff that I've been using, but I thought, oh, it's also got a watercolor one. And the first tube I looked at, I can't remember what color it was. It was 12 quid,
Oh gosh.
15 mil.
Huh.
I thought, well, I think I'll save that for another time.
Hmm.
Yeah. Wait for Christmas.
Wait for a lottery win at this rate.
Hmm.
Yeah.
It'll be never, won't it? Oh, I
You
did
paint
win.
it.
I
Oh,
got
that's
a
nice.
tip last weekend, so
Hmm.
ask Chrissy to drill it.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
nice. Yeah. Lovely.
Whose is that, Chris?
Mm.
That's, you can almost, yeah, that's good. I like that one.
Hmm.
Not too keen on the blue sky. Looks a bit like ultramarine.
It was a bit of ultramarine and cerulean blue.
Yeah.
Doesn't
Hmm.
look, I'm just looking at the actual picture. It doesn't look as dark as that on the.
Yeah, I
in
would have
the-
said, yeah. I wasn't deliberately
Yeah.
being rude, but
Yes, you were.
Oh dear.
Far too much green for my liking. I don't like green. I just do like painting with green.
You have to, it's a real challenge, isn't it?
It
Oh
is.
yeah.
It really is.
You
Well, you
sort of
saw
sit
last
there
week.
and you think, oh, what shall I do first?
I had about, what was it,
Yeah.
5 different tubes of different greens, Mark.
Mm.
You're just using them up. Hard work. It was very difficult. And Joyce,
Really got
Oh,
me
that's
joy.
nice.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
she never
I love
felt
the
surprised.
simplicity of it. It's
Yeah, yeah.
Mm.
She never fails to surprise me.
No.
and it
Very
must be
good.
so much quicker to do because it's not so much. It's
No.
to worry about.
I'd be, I don't know. It would take me 6 months to work out how to do how to do it. I don't
Yeah.
know which is. It will be somewhere between the two. I would have thought, either that dark or that light. But it's the beauty of the computer. You can change
Mm.
that ever so easy. Sometimes it works really well, but I've started doing it in Photoshop at the moment, or another program that's more accurate. It doesn't, like if I do it in this cheap program, it really makes hell of a contrast. With it that ain't right. It's a combination. It's overkill. That is on the board.
It's clever though, that one.
It's very,
Yeah, the
very
foreground's
unique
good,
style.
isn't it?
I wouldn't think to do that, would you? Like that.
No.
I put the
That looks
spanner in
nice.
works yesterday talking to Chrissy. I said,
Oh,
you didn't put a butterfly in yours then? And she came back, oh, I never even thought of that. And I thought, right, until after I painted it and looked at mine and thought, oh,
oh, you can soon put one in, couldn't you?
yeah. You know, like you can get those ones on metal poles that you put in the garden.
Yeah.
That's what made me think of it. Mel's got some sort of glass or whatever they are.
I've got some very nice little 3D butterfly stick-on things. I think I'll just stick one on my painting. Pretend I painted it.
Sounds like a good idea.
Butterfly.
Well, what you could do, Chrissy, is get it and paint it by numbers using acrylic and then stick it on. Nobody would know. It'd look real. It would be real.
Yeah, 3D.
Just use it as a template, but your colours on top of the other ones. Because acrylic, it won't come off. It'll stay there forever.
I really don't think I'll bother, Dave. Thank you. Once I finish a painting, it gets put to one side and forgotten about. Not like you. I don't go back to it, I'm afraid.
Yeah, me too.
What's happened to yours, Pauline?
I haven't finished mine yet because I've had a busy week. I've been out a lot, so I have started it. So I will finish it, but yeah, I just haven't been in much.
I'm about 6 weeks behind, I think.
I think all the recent ones we've done lately, I photographed them and put them all on online for 30 quid or something. I can't remember. See what happened in my little shop. See what happens. But I know there's a couple of people sort of looking to, hey, you still painting? You know, that sort of conversation. I've got some wall space. I need some of your. So what I've been doing is gradually going through, putting them online into the shop for like, because we don't take that much time, so they're not full blown a Dave masterpiece, you know, that I've spent a lot of time on. So I don't think I could justify, you know, silly prices. So I thought if I put them all on the shop, anyone watching this, the link below, then people can, you know, flick through them as I gradually build up. There'll be quite a few of them. They can pick their take the choice. Some of them aren't bad. Well, most of them are there or thereabouts. It's funny, isn't it, when you don't see them for a while and then you look back, you think, oh, that's not too bad, or the opposite, obviously. But genuinely, they are little babies, aren't they? You always sort of think, oh, that's bloody hard. I remember doing, oh God, not that. So, but,
I'll be improving though. I don't know. I can't see any improvement in mine. I
well,
don't know.
Yes,
Well,
definitely, Carol. You've come on leaps and bounds, I think.
Do you
I mean,
think
it's
so?
Time, yeah. I really think. I think of everybody, yours has probably improved the most.
Mel,
I wouldn't have said that. I think Pauline's are nice as well.
Well, they're all nice. That's what it's
And
about.
yeah, they're all nice.
But
Yeah.
yours in particular.
confidence thing. Melanie, the best judge, because sometimes she'll come up here before she goes to bed, like, and say, "What have they been doing lately? Then come on." And she always says, because she'll leave it, she won't not do it for a month or whatever, and she's got a good art. She's the only one that's qualified out of all of us for art.
I wish. Right.
Well, she
Don't
went
let her give us marks out of 10.
Yeah.
art college and all that rubbish, and
Oh
she's
yeah.
always says, I can, oh, that's nice.
Oh,
She's
excuse
she's
me.
always saying, she usually says, she said this, I don't know, I know the Zoom's not perhaps the ideal for some people, but she said the focus and the improvement in the work is just amazing. She said she can see it as the as the weeks and months and years go by. Amazing.
But it's been a good journey.
As this week's thing, it's something I've never done.
Really?
No, you get all those art books, David Bellamy and all that. They always got sort of a mountain scene in it, and one thing, something I've never bothered to do. So this came up and I saw it online and I thought, one more challenge to bugger me
Looking
brain
forward
up.
to it.
Mhm.
Did a line drawing and a tonal, that was my sketch one. I don't know. That's why the computer says do it like that.
It's a lot of drawing.
Yeah, it ain't gonna happen. I don't, I've gotta be, I don't know, I haven't planned anything, or to be quite honest, I haven't really give it a massive amount of thought. This morning I was, well, that's a lie, because I do look, sometimes I lie in bed thinking, what are we going to do here? How are we going to approach that? But then the printer decided it ain't going to print out properly.
Yeah, we've got one like that.
Yeah.
Where the ink gone, and you can see the pinky one at the bottom and the not so wibbly one there. So in the end I thought, Dave, just do what you want to do, mate.
Yep.
So
Good thinking.
anything can happen this morning. I've got, well, the Queen's on the back of this board.
Oh, right.
That's some of that. Right, I'm definitely recording. I'm on the right camera. So everyone can see it.
Yep.
I'm just gonna, we're going for an early lunch.
Yeah, we ever heard that before?
It's only got a couple of brush strokes on it.
I can hear him now.
What was that?
I can hear you now.
Yeah, because I changed microphones and now I've clipped it on.
Ah.
This is like TVAM here. You have to.
We've got an extra this morning. Leo's decided to sit on my lap.
Oh.
So one of these little ones that I clip on to my tongue.
Ew.
Works better.
Yeah, you can tell if I forget, that's what I say, if I switch the microphone over, because if I forget, when you play the recording back this afternoon, like, it's like, oh no, it's like I'm talking about 4 miles away.
Yeah, yeah.
I did a sketch of, I'm not sure about the figure. Then I saw this, I thought, should we do it monotone and one thing and another?
It's almost on its own anyway, isn't it?
Well, I'm not, last week I was all, my focus was on going to bloody dentist. But there's no point in saying, you put yourself, I put myself in sort of sleep mode where, you know, I analyze it. I think there's no point in thinking about it. There's no point in worrying about it. There's nothing you can do about it. You've got to go, and it's going to happen. It's just time. Just chill out and forget about it and put it out of your mind. Don't worry, because it's still in the back of your mind, isn't it? You can't get away from it. You think this is going to work. Even after all that prostate treatment, cancer treatment, you think this is going to, it's still, dentist is going to work. It's going to be, well, it's going to be uncomfortable. It's time, isn't it? If like the last time you were the dentist says, well, we got to do this, we got to do that. If you, while you're in the chair, you say, get on and do it right now, it'll be fine. But then you got to go away 3 months later.
Go and stew over it.
You might get an appointment. So anyway, when on this picture, we just ignore all convention. It's top down, isn't it? Top down, start at the top, work your way. So doing a sketch and looking at this, the one I've got here is pink, pinky brown color, but I'm not really fussed because I'm only looking at tonal values. Look, it's shade there. There's a big triangle there that's shady. There's one there. There's one down there. This is clear because it's all snowy stuff. So the plan is, you know, to think of it in those lines. What I haven't got, and I better hang on 2 secs, grab some tissue. There you go. Otherwise, nothing worse than not being able to mop out. Might need I'll leave a few straight edged ones, a couple anyway, so that you need to mop something up like that, you know what I mean? So you get a nice hard edge. Think about some colours. I cleaned my palette up to perfection.
Notice.
I've been doing this for a couple of weeks now, because what's his name? The one that me and Joyce watch occasionally, Charlie Evans. His palette, he hasn't cleaned it for like 30 years. And even where the paints are, he just squishes it on. And I'm thinking, he goes, well, it don't make any difference. And it does. It makes a big difference. He wants to work in that mess, not me. I know when you look at your the paint, it's all horrible.
I love that blue. That's really nice.
That's
Cobalt turquoise, isn't
it's cobalt, turquoise, cobalt.
it?
It's a St. Petersburg color I use.
Yeah, it's really bright.
It's in Russian. Cobalt turquoise. But they don't make it in St. Petersburg. Well, as far as I'm aware, they don't. but I don't just mixing up a few colors at random out of this palette. That's it's not ultramarine, it's bluebell blue, because I wanted to use up what was in the tube. Sounds like somebody's trying to drill through the wall here. Raw sienna. I'm going to have a blob of raw sienna on my palette. So what have I got? The three primaries, am I? Red, blue and yellow. It's the standard thing for all paintings, isn't it? And the other thing, let's have a blob of flesh tone, just in case I want to, what's the word? Tone colours down. This and the other one's this dune sand colour, which you can use to mute colours, just swish them around. That was good. So that's about it, really. Sort of. Let's attack the sky. I'm gonna, sounds dramatic. I'm going in. Look out.
Do, do, do.
I'm going in. Well, I was going to say this. I didn't finish what I was saying earlier. I thought the last week I was feeling a bit off piste because of the dentist. This week I'm so the Queen things. It's like, shall I bother? What's the point? It's all right watching it, but it's quite upsetting in a way. Seeing all those people, like yesterday, where the 4 kids were around the coffin with the guards and that. I thought that's amazing. That is.
All those people that queued, how
Mm,
for
I
those that
know.
came just at the right time,
Yeah.
and those
Is
few.
it? Yeah. Is it today they're flying her to London, or is it
Yeah,
tomorrow?
this evening, 6 o'clock.
Do you think they'll stand vigil round her in London as well?
Don't know.
The
Yeah.
princes might do it, mightn't they? The grandchildren.
Yeah, it's quite a good shot. That photographer's dream. That one. Just making sure I've got dry. And I'm going in. Look out. I think I might, just for a bit of fun. Well, not fun, but because I quite like this brush. It's another one of Terry Harrison's. He calls it a foliage brush. So anyway, what should we do with it? Bit of raw sienna. A bit. It'll go lighter, won't it? And a bit of red. What colour is it? Rose madder. I think it's rose madder. And I've just gone over the top of the mountain.
Yeah.
And the other colour I'm going to use is the blue. And try and let it soften down. Might add a little bit of the what colour that was? Bluebell blue. Who the flipping heck uses bluebell blue? I ask. Well, let's go for dramatic, squishy effect. Bit of clean water. Just going to soften this blue. Let it try and get it to run down. Come on, Himalayas. Can you imagine walking up there? Well, it ain't a Sunday afternoon stroll, is it?
No.
I mix a bit of that bluebell with the turquoise in my palette there. Will I get a line of colour? Am I setting the tone colour for the rest of the picture? I don't particularly like the mountain bit, So what I'm going to do is mix a bit of the raw sienna with the, or add some raw sienna to it, warm it up a bit. All for the drama of it all, but still not right. Maybe get some of that blue involved. I want the drama at the top, but not. I've gone a bit pinky. See, I'm doing it where I'm thinking, I'm not. I'm just going to go for anything, just splash some colour on. But I'm already looking at it, thinking, don't like that. Yeah, that'll do. We said we'd go for an early lunch. I'm going to just grab a bit
You went with your
out, see if I can. Maybe you can dab it out or lift it at it. Lifting's good if you've got a flat brush,
No,
like what I have here.
don't do
Bit
it.
of clean water on it.
Mm.
Soak it off in the tissue and just lift out some doodahs. Just lighten it up. I hope this dries back nice because it's. I think this Gordon will appreciate it. This paper is the Jackson's Two Rivers meat stuff, but there's something wrong with it. I don't know if it's gone off stale, but I'm looking at it and I can sense that there's, you know, the river, the ups and downs of the not finish. It doesn't feel right. It's like it's acting like blotting paper. There's not enough.
From the other Two Rivers factory, isn't it? Not from the original.
Ah, right. I was saying the other day, I'm not planning on. Your tastes change as you paint over time, anyway.
Yeah.
I was shouting loud and strong about arches this time last year or
Yeah.
whatever, especially for the portraits, but I've gone off of that now.
Yeah.
Carol uses Fabriano, so I quite like that. I used to use that years ago. Just trying to get the peak of the mountain, but yeah, there's a mountain. It's trouble when you start painting, you lose some of your pencil lines, don't you? I'm just looking. I think I'm going to mix up a little bit more of that dark blue and whack it over with the back. So that was the blue that I'm farting around or playing around with here. Came out of the blue as well. Was Terry Harrison's Bluebell Blue. See, there's there's a, what's that? A tear or a scratch? It's not. It's a. I think what it is. It's a piece of wood in the paper. You know, along. So, how are we going to mix up a bit more of that bluebell, wooden, cobalt, turquoise, and just dab it on, see what happens. Failing that, there's a hang glider in the top of my picture. Thunderbolt? No, I think I'm lost with that. I'm not going to get that back. So, just think if anybody's got a plan B, could you let me know what it is?
Cut that top right off.
Yeah, well, that's a good idea.
I'll lose the top of the mountain then, won't I?
No, you only got to come down a little bit.
Yeah, okay. No, I think what I'm in my mind's eye, sort of whatever that is. I'm thinking I'm gonna make everything a bit darker at the very top here. And the worst comes to the worst, I'm just mixing up turquoise blue and just put a bit on the edge. Just, my paper's still damp. Yeah. It'll probably fade quite nicely, and then I will add might paint it with white, turn it into a solid doodah cloud. Those are the special clouds that you get in Dave's pictures. A doodah cloud. I mean, this is, you've got options, because you can, if you want, you can do that and just go straight across your mountain, and then use a tissue. Well, I'll show you. Yeah, you can go straight across it, so you get a nice fine line. And then I did say, didn't I, that I would keep some of these tissues flat and just lift it out, so you get a nice even background. Beauty of watercolor. But if you've got the straight edge on the paper, you can get a, just look at the picture, you should get quite a good effect. Because the paper's starting to dry off now anyway. I think I need just to go out that way a bit. Just looking at the reference picture. You want some jagged edges, don't you? Of a sort. And normally at this stage, you know, I've got a line going there where it's drying. So as I say, it's not me, it's the paper. That's just a bit of a spoiler, isn't it? Oh. No tears, just carry on. I will. Right, while that's settling itself down, the raw sienna, I'm going to looking at the, I'll make not that, the bit from where he's standing, all down one side, just looking at the reference picture. I want to make this bit wet, leave that bit. Just looking at the picture where there's light and shadow for a reason. It's too big a brush, Dave. Need a smaller brush. Smell heavy. Get a grip, boy. Now I've got to find some rocks. There's one there, and some raw sienna, and a smidgen of that pinky colour. I'm just going to pick out some highlights. Well, they're not, well, say highlights. They're not highlights. They're it's got like an undercolour glow. So maybe that early lunch is getting further away now. As soon as you mention her, there's a glow in a picture. Just you're going to be struggling. Gotta find it first. There's some little bit here. Just a little bit of. You could, if you want, I suppose, just paint the whole lot, but I was, you know, not going to get more raw sienna, a little bit of you know, and just paint what you see ish. It's a good opportunity to decide where you want your rocks anyway, because there is light coming from somewhere, and that's what we're trying to find. A bit like doing a portrait, really, isn't it? Looking for the variations of tone. Don't want to go up there because that's white. Leave that. Dum, 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 dum. Oops, there we go there. Right. It's fine. Good. No reason. If you want to go mad, madder. Add a little bit of yellow. Do that with a rigger. Could actually, when I'm thinking of it loud, get a smaller brush, flick it over the paper, and just put a few bits on the figure for now. At least he's established then. Need a rigger. Give me a rigger. And pull some like that. Towards the way. And I want to put my hand on the picture to rest it, to get a nice line. It's a wet bit, a wet patch. Seems to be my theme brush this morning, this Terry Harrison foliage brush. Some yellow in there. So all I'm doing is, at the moment, is looking at the reference picture and thinking there's some light patches on the rocks that I want to use as a sort of an underpainting. Give it a bit of glow. Not worried about the dark ones. Variation, isn't it? That's what I'm looking for. Awesome. I think I might just dry the sky off with a hairdryer. Yeah. Ah, no. I bought a load of logs. Well, I ordered them 2 or 3 weeks ago, and they came last Tuesday morning, didn't they? I remember now. Yeah, so I had to sort of go quick, and I was just on the website a minute ago for they're over at Paul, aren't they? Gardner and Son, the cold log people, and the website. I hadn't looked at the web page since what 2-3 weeks ago when I was hunting around for to make an order, and I remember saying to you guys, I thought I'd get me order in for logs quick before the energy crisis puts the price up and all that rubbish. And where the website was, you know, still on screen from a few weeks ago, I was looking at the price of, I thought I'll get a bit of kindling wood. Always handy to have, starter fire. And it was like $5.65 for a bag, these mesh bags they use. And I thought, oh, that'd do. I'll go over and get some, afternoon out or something. And I refreshed the page, and all of a sudden it went up to $7.25. So the price, that's quite a high percentage, isn't it?
Mm.
In that short period of time. And I thought, there you go. I nearly said the B word. Little.
I just loaded a load of wood offcuts in the car to take over to my sister tomorrow. She's got a wood burner.
Yeah, but I won't burn any old wood. It is actually against the law now. And stuff from DIY and that, you can't burn that. That's full of cyanide and everything.
Yeah,
You
well, depends what the wood is. You can't use it if it's got like paint or creosote on.
MDF and all that. All wood that you buy now, softwood, B&Q, isn't wood. It's made out. It's ordinary wood compressed together and glued, and then they sand it and saw it up to make it look like a plank. So that's what I don't use it. It's full of. I've got loads of it out the back. I was looking at it small. I thought, well, maybe if I just chop that up. No, I won't do it. Make it small for kindling, because you're just chucking cyanide out. Anyway, it ain't for me to set a moral compass for other people.
Well,
One has to make one's own. Life is full of choices, you see.
whether it goes to tip or it goes to keep somebody warm. So that's the way I look at it.
Well,
When
I've
it
done
goes
it
to-
before with wood like that, and because I got an open fire, it just like choking yourself.
Yeah, it's
Like you're
different.
breathing in. There's all particulates in it that comes out of it.
Yeah.
I don't. Would if it's wrong when you smell it, you think that ain't right. That's why I look at it. Anyway, you think it's all happened in the past. Anyway, let's concentrate on this. I've got a nice. Yeah!
Oh gosh.
A nice. And I was hoping to get a nice greyish bluey colour. I'm playing with the rose madder, Algerian crimson, cobalt blue, and a little bit of love and tender care, and see if I can get a nice soft tone. It's a bit better. And what did I say earlier? What you need to do is look for the shapes on the. Don't forget you can lift it off. Hey, we're going. And it goes down there, doesn't it? There's that line there. There's a valley there. Well, I think you've got a choice, or I have a choice as well, because I'm painting my version. And you can just paint the whole, don't take any notice of what's going on and just paint the whole thing. And then lift it off with a tissue like for your white bits. Okay, this is surreal, this is. Because I'm talking, every time I speak, like then, the bird out the window decides it has to chirp. It's just stopped. Now I speak. I thought I was hearing things, but there's a bird out on the telegraph pole or on the roof, and as I speak, it can hear me, so it's joining in. You get that with blackbirds, don't you? If you set, it'll make a noise, and if you chirp back, it'll start. You can spend after half an hour or more. You whistle, the bird back. You imitate the blackbird. So you go. So you do it back, and then next thing you're having a conversation with a flipping male blackbird on a roof, sort of 4 houses away. Such good fun. Well, and yeah, I think it's stopped now. No, it's still there. How weird. These mountain things are a bit like snow scenes, aren't they? Well, that sounds a bit obvious, but
Yeah, a little bit.
when we paint snow scenes, it's there's not a lot of paint going on, is there? It's like deciding where not to paint rather than paint, and gradually building up darker and darker areas. I think the sky could have been a bit darker. Mixture. It's easy for us watercolorists because we can just use it. So just use dirty water. I suppose Chrissy has to use dirty white.
Yep.
This is no, it's not easy because you have to paint. It's building it up with these mountains. I've seen the demos on videos years ago, people painting mountains. It's a bit like water. You paint it and then you start gradually building up harder and darker lines. It's the same mix of paint though. I think I've got that ish right. Adding a little bit of that flesh in, not because it's absolutely necessary, but it seemed to make it look nice, give that a better tone. And then this is where the boring bit is. It's probably why I don't do these very often. It's because while it's wet, you've got to get your rigger and start building up extra shadows and finding. You've got choices though. You can do it now while the paper's wet and drizzle it in. It's just a matter of spending a lot of time. I need more blue in that. Time teasing out the shadow areas and dropping the paint down and getting used to or letting the paper dry, not dry. It'll get to that stage where you can add, where it doesn't bleed, where it just sits there, and you just gradually build it up over the next 6 months. Or as long as you like. And because I'm an impatient artist, so sometimes I am, but this is a not finished. It's a good exercise. It's a not finished paper, so it has got the knobbly bits on it that you can utilize, the highs and lows. So all you can do, well, all you need to do is just look at your reference picture and decide where the shadows are and gradually drop them in. And the skill, I think the fiddly bit, or the bit that's gonna, well, it's sort of fun, isn't it? It's going to take some time, is deciding how wet the paper is, because that'll denote how much it's bleeding. Well, this sort of particular scene, the mountain it's a cross, isn't it? It's not quite hard. It's got a few hard bits, and some of it's in the out of focus, slightly mysterious, but a lot of it, a bit more of that. I don't know if everybody's got any of that cobalt blue, but it is an ace colour, cobalt turquoise.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've got some of that.
Yeah, it's such a, see what I mean? This paper is still damp. So as soon as I put a line, it's a brilliant exercise for watercolor technique. Because even now the paint I'm using now is slightly dark. So I've cleaned it off, put clean water on my brush, and now I'm just going to soften it down that area there. Well, there is a shadow in there. So this ain't a 5-minute painting. And what I was started to say a minute ago was, and I keep going on about the way the paper is drying, and as you put paint on, it will gradually dry, and the way you paint will change. It will reflect that, in that you'll be able to start using, let me show you on this bit of paper. You'll be able to start using dry brush. Let me see. Yeah, just do it on there. That's blue already from previous life. It's a bit of sky. But if I put paint on it now, where the knot finishes, I can start getting some fine, harder lines. Don't look much there, but in the context of this mountain picture, those will turn up to be hard rocks, rocky areas. And how long have we got? Because it ain't going to be a 5-minute job. You can just, people get fascinated by doing them because it ain't easy. Lots of decisions to be made, and softening down. If it goes too hard, get your atomizer and start spraying it back again. What I've found is you need to mix up a whole watch of paint. Oh, you could do. Only problem with that is you don't get those sort of random variations of colour. We know it's that, we know it's using that blue and that pink to make that sort of bluey grey, and variations, extra blue makes it slightly greyer, and the red makes it slightly warmer. But by doing little bits at a time, you get lots of variations of that, which is more or less how it works on the actual reference image or on the mountain. The light constantly changes, so if your palette changes the same way, sounds like I'm waffling, but it is true. If your palette changes the same way, then you're going to get that same feel into your picture. Whoops, fell off the end of my brush. Did you see that? It's but as this, that shouldn't really be like that, should it? I don't know why I did that. Should be clear a little bit. Never mind. But it's dry. I was just going to say it's dried off. So just flicking the brush up is making it have that hard line. Oh. But that's definitely a nice, well, too much, see what I mean? You put too much pink in it and it goes whoosh. Seriously, the other way. Let's go a bit more blue. You just bring it back with the turquoise blue and it does change its attitude. That was too much. Put it over that side of the palette out of the way. It's all swings and roundabouts. I'm trying to get it to go more of a grey. But I did find just now adding a little bit of flesh to it changes the tone of it even more. You get such a nice. There you go. It's that favourite technique, isn't it? Put a dollop of colour on and then clean water and just soften it down. It's a bit like painting skies, isn't it? You can't paint every flipping cloud because it's moving and it evolves. But you can get a rough feel of it. There's a shadow line straight down there. And goes out, no, it goes further down to there and out there. So put a line of paint and then dab some clean water the other side of it. Love it. A bit like painting like icing a cake. One thing I didn't do it last week with the what do you call it? Wildflower thing. I'll show you before we go. But what it did, it is in my mind's eye to add some watercolor paints on those, because sometimes they're really bright colors, aren't they? So you can get that extra emphasis on a few places. This is incredibly fiddly, random, and build up. It's a bit like playing computer games where you create a race of beings, because you're like a god. You're deciding where the craggy bits are on the mountain and what to do with them. Awesome. Don't know what it looks like. I haven't stood up and looked at it for ages, so better be slowly taking shape. And then you look at it, you think, well, that's too dark, that needs more. And the other thing about this is it evolves as it dries, being watercolor. It's not, watercolors tend to dry in a different way. You can even still use a tissue. Shows how wet this paper stays wet. I think I used a hairdryer on it not that long ago. But the watercolor pencils would be ideal for this. You can just soften things here, there, and everywhere. Where have I got a bit that I've missed really? Just here. My paint's gone a bit pinky now. I wish it was a bit bluer. Oh, that blooming blue. Careful what you wish for. Well, not quite that blue. Doesn't make it. Definitely like painting like icing a cake, isn't it? But one thing you won't get it spot on accurate. Not unless you're prepared to spend the next 70 years doing it. Which I definitely ain't gonna happen. Got pencil line there. I think I'm just gonna. It's trouble when you. Well, it's one thing I've noticed a lot as time goes on. You put pencil lines on there, and then when you start painting, you think, "What was that for?" what? You just got to have faith in your own doodah and think, well, I wouldn't have put a pencil line there if it wasn't important or it meant something to me at the time. So I'm just enhancing it. Yeah, okay. When it's dried, we can do some, well, as it dries off, add some, I'm flicking up there, try and find some dry brush. And, you know, there's a definite cragginess to this. I suppose the real feather in the cake would be someone that hadn't seen it before saying, that's Everest, isn't it? It's the Himalayas. And you think, oh, blimey, done my job. This bit over here, I think I might have to thinking lighten it off or something. But anyway, I think I'm on board with that bit. Trying to move it off. I've got this brush here. Burnt umber. Anybody in for burnt umber? Yeah, go for a bit burnt umber. I'll put it over here for now. Burnt umber has turned into. You ever do that? Stick your foot in the wrong. Put your foot in it. Put your foot in the wrong doodah. Well, I'll mix up a word of it and some blue. I'm not trying to get just for a bit of fun. I'll add some green into it. Well, I put that big blob of Algerian crimson. Well, we know from past experience, if you add Algerian crimson and green together, you get that really scary browny colour. And the next bit is even more monotonous than the previous bit. Gosh, I'm a happy bunny today, aren't I? Well, because it's a slow process. There's no. I'll move my image a little bit. Clean water, where I'm. This it sort of helps. Now I've got that where I put that glow earlier. Oh God, excuse my French. I was expecting clean water and got something out of sci-fi movie. I'm just going to drop some rocky bits in to the clean water. Put that brush in my mouth before I start talking fly and drop in some extra Oh, that'll give us some rocks. Raw sienna. Start off. It's up to you. Wait, how bright and we want the rocks. I mean, the ideal easy peasy bit, if you want to make life seriously simple, would be just to look at the picture and use masking fluid where you want the white of the snow to turn up. But I deliberately thought, nah, I ain't going to do that today. I'm just going to use watercolor sort of technique, really. Let's have a clean drop of water. That is the only drawback with some of these. Oh, some of these synthetic brushes, they don't release all the paint when you wash them off. Let's put a random amount of water in. Bit of raw sienna. Go on, stick it in. Don't rush, take your time. Sorry. Bit of fresh tone. And then grab some of that dark, use your rigger, and just drop it in. Might need a bit more blue in that. Make it really dark, and then just drop it in. Lay your brush flat if you want. But I would, well, my method is to watch what I'm going to say now. Is do a bit, do one area, even though you're going to use exactly the same method in the rest of the picture, move to another picture, let that another part of the picture and let that dry. Like I'm going to go, I'll do this bit here. So I'm going to do it. There's not so much more snow over this side. And then meanwhile that bit's all drying back. So, and I've got plenty of that dark colour. It is really dark down there as well. So yeah, it's just this area. I just roughly painted boulders. I looked at the big picture. I thought, well, that shape looks like a boulder. So I drew it, just a round shape. Hopefully it's not going to be too wishy-washy when it dries back. So just concentrate on that area. Just put on my dark colour there, and I can drop a few little bits where I made it damp there with raw sienna. Because it's damp, the paint will soften down into the water, and it will, where there is no water, it will look like snowy sort of stuff. That's my theory, my thinking. Clean the brush off if you want, and just put with clean water and just let it do some work. And when it dries, you can go back to that dry brush technique and just flick a few really dark, scary bits of rock in. It's monotonously interesting. Thought I was going to say boring then, didn't you? It's monotonous, and I think that's quite a nice term actually. I want to make everything. So I'm going to use clean water. I haven't got any clean water as such, but looking at this piece here where I put light, I'm going to leave that light, put clean water here, and say this is a river valley, but we know it's not. We know it's a boulder valley, and then just drop in some serious darks in amongst this lot. Bit more blue, do you think? And get that extra strength on the dark. But it is brown, isn't it? It's not overly black. But the water will help fuzz things up, if anything. You see how it's building up though? It's sort of as the same. If you can, it is sort of random. Where I've got those light bits, as you do it, you'll find the tops of it, or the, you know, a little bit. You think, oh, I'm going to leave that. That makes it look quite nice. There's a real black area here, isn't there? Just down here. But I haven't watered this piece under here, so as long as I stick above it, it will go. I'll get a nice line. Something like that. A bit more brown. I want it to go brown, a bit more burnt sienna. I'll do that. Bring it back to brown. I like that. Getting the hang of it. So I don't want it to get too dark up here, because we're trying to portray that there is some sort of light going on there. It's the only way of adding little nuggets of darkness. It's using the rigger, just tease it in. Up and down, dab it up and down. Key for a song. And as it dries, you'll start to see lines that appear that you can look at and say, right, there's a hard line, that must be a hard line of a rock. So you just sort of put it in. The only thing I would add, look at what just crossed my mind just while I was doing this, was later on when it's bone dry, the white areas, I'll probably put a little bit of that tone in some of these white areas. Can't do it while it's wet because it will just pick up some of the nasty, the dark stuff. See, there's red in there. As soon as you, bit of blue, bit of burnt umber. Get rid of that light red. But then again, it's local colour to the painting that I've done. So it's not a total disaster. I'm going to put a little bit of clean, dirty water. What the heck are you? Well, how's it happen? Constant. These brushes, these evergreen brushes are absolutely brilliant. Apart from the fact you have to clean them off in water once and then do it again. I'm so used to the other ones, you know, the watercolor brushes, where you just go whoosh whoosh and it takes all the paint off. Whereas those ones, they're synthetic of some description. It doesn't do it. It retains a load of the paint. Don't forget our old friend scalpel or knife. We can easily we want really big stuff to happen, or effects, give it a bit of a scrape here and there. I'm not too bothered about that today. Got a nice, let's go back up here. There's a big rock there. We will be in a minute. There will be in a minute. Bit of raw sienna. I've still got a bit of this dark left. Stick it on. Bit more blue. Perhaps. Just let him do his bit. Let him dry off and do the next one. Plain water. I've got just a bit of water, raw sienna. Stick it on the top. Bit too much water on there, but we'll live with it. Bit of blue, bit of burnt umber. Drop it in onto the raw sienna. Too much water, never mind. It'll soak in, won't it? It'll soak. Love it. Oh dear. I'm just going to come down where his toes are. See what I mean about being it's a bit godlike that you have to sort of make up where you want the rocks to be. I think that sort of theme though, bit of raw sienna, and then drop the dark bit onto it. In my experience, anyway, so I've always done it like that. Even on the beach, the rocks on the beach gives them a sort of what do you call it? A glow to them. Again, I've got to try it with other colour. Perhaps try it with the flesh colour as we get nearer the front. Rather than raw sienna, use a bit of the flesh tint. Already got a bit of it there. And then just drop there. So it's burnt umber, blue. It's the first time I've ever nearly used up so much of that bluebell blue. So, from that point of view. So that was flesh on there, and I've just dropped in the really dark onto it. Gives it a nice sort of glow. I want a rock there, don't I? Going up into there. So, what colour is that? I don't know. What do you put your brush in? I don't know. It's sort of a pinky colour over there. Peach, I think it was, from the archives of buying paint. I haven't bought any for a while. That's why at 12 quid a tube, it's going to be hanging on as well. Like you say, Christmas is coming. Well, you think about it, 3 tubes of paint at 12 quid, that's 30 or we're heading up into the £50 for sort of 4 colours. I'm not going that way. Just going to drag those down there. Let them. A bit like them. Could be on Mars, couldn't we? I'll paint the rocks red. So if anybody's in space themes, this is how this is how you do it, but with more emphasis on the red for the rocks. dry brush, because this is dried off now, so I left it, didn't I? So should be able to add a little bit extra. And same here. I think this is dried off a bit. Just using a rigger, just flick it, give it that sort of, because it's a glacier, isn't it? Glacier, depends where you're brought up, I suppose. Or that's Wurzels, it's glacier. Glacier there, and that was over there. Right. I'm just going to put a little bit of snowiness in this bit here. As it dries, Carol, these bits that I was doing earlier, as it dries, you'll suddenly see lines appear. It dries, it's sort of, I'm not saying, Chrissy will get it with her acrylics, but not to the extent where the paint, it contracts a bit as it dries and it leaves a little hard line, which when you look at it, you think, cool, crikey, that's like a little bit of the mountain, a little bit of a, oops, wrong bit, little craggy bit. But that's is a good way of doing it, is to, as it dries, using the same color on your rigger. No, I got like a little point there, a little, you can almost walk into that where it's dry. But if you get your rigger, you can just flick it and you'll get those little lines. You'll spot them and flick it down. Don't go into that bit. After you looked at it for about 3 hours, you suddenly start seeing some sort of shape to it, you know, some sort of feeling on the mountain. The sky, I appreciate the sky is a bit tense, but I'm going to have to live with that for now. Just want to put some wiggly bits in here and there. Just looking for a few darker shadow lines. Interesting to see how Chris's turns out, because she's using much solider paint with much, well, fuller body, isn't it, the paint, so she might be able to scratch a few bits here and there, you know, butter it in, get more of a 3D buttery effect that us splish splash bloshers can't. The figure does have the potential to add a balanced color. So thinking of, where do I put that bit of tissue in? I'm learning, not putting my palette on the picture, but you've got there a little bit of yellow. Don't ask me what yellow is, I haven't got a flipping clue. But you can build up the figure. As I'm figured, well, to my mind, when you're climbing up a mountain, you've got to add some sort of colour on. So somebody can say, ah, there he is over there. Or if you, heaven forbid, you fall down, they can sort of spot you in the crevice and bring you home. Bring him home. Bring him home. Who's that? Les Miserables. I've been doing that. My figure's gone a bit blurred because he's a bit wet, but yours will be, because you'll walk away and let it dry and then come back. Tell you what I'll do, just for a bit of fun, stick a dollop of cobalt blue on his trousers. Well, I'll get a thought. Oh dear. Are you bored, Dave? Why are you painting that bloke's trousers? Cobalt turquoise. Oh, it's not too bad actually. And his head, a dollop of sand or flesh. And then when it dries, we can put a little bit of a little bit of something else on it. And it's too wet. I always get this problem on a Tuesday. It's much too soaking wet, and I don't want to dry it with a brush, with a hairdryer, because it I won't get those nice lines that I'm waffling on about that I want. That, you know, as it dries, I'll get those craggy lines that I want to add. Sure, if I try and dry it now, that the smudginess of it will retain. But if I let it dry naturally, it will dry back. Well, not completely, but it won't be as bad as using the hairdryer. And this bit is the fun bit, really. Add in little bits of dark. Just use the rigger on its side and flick them in. Oh, come on. That's not bad for an hour. Decide. Might put pom-pom on him. Of the lift. There's a little bit round there on the figure that when it's dry I can lift it off. Yeah. Yeah. Right, find a little bit more groovy stuff. Could use pastels, Carol,
Yeah, could do.
on the mountain. Get that soft, hard edge, you know, compromise. And action. Bit of paint. I'm not stood up, so I'm not actually. It's funny when you paint sitting down, you're closer to it, but you're not closer to it. It's a strange thing. It's great for doing something close up, but for looking at the overall painting, it's not so much fun. Let him go. No, it's bring him home, isn't it? Oh, now I've got a tune in my head that's going to stay there for a little while. Bit just using up old paint. Let him go. Find the rigger. Get some more of that. A nice piece of string. Bit of blue. Find the rigger. And put some extra dollops in here. Got to put this down on the ground somehow. So anything you're not happy with, just clean water and soften it back. Don't quite know what went on there, but turn it into a rock. Oh, that's where I scraped it with a knife. Stick a little edge on it. But how long have you could be doing this for till the cows come in? All three of them. Yeah. Once you build it up. The only thing No. I think I might. Yeah. Turn it upside down. Is this dry? Yeah. Turn it upside down. This is where everything goes pear-shaped. Hold it up like that. Get a food dye brush. I haven't got any clean water, so I'm just gonna. It's got a point to it, this brush. I'm just gonna go in with a point. Always tell when I'm happy, start singing. Well, can't really call it singing, but let him go, that was. That's my imagination, isn't it? I've never seen Les Miserables, and I'm not really that fussed about seeing it. But I'm thinking of it as a it's like a prison. Bloke's in prison and you gotta let him go. Oh, dude. Don't know if this is going to be the right colour. Probably not. Nah. Need to be. I'm getting carried away because I'm thinking I've got acrylics on my brain now, or a solid colour. But anyway, that's what I'm going to have to do to the top of the picture. But it's this point where Gordon looks up and says, you know what you want there? Indigo. And I remember all those weeks I had indigo on my palette, and now I haven't got it. I need it. Well, saying that, if I go back to a sort of square one of the colours on the St. Petersburg.
Yeah, there's a purple in there, isn't there?
There is an indigo.
Mm.
I think I found it. As I say, this paper is. Ooh, that was close. That was close. This paper has had it. It's really annoying me. That's indigo over there on this palette. Good old St. Petersburg paints. You can't whack them, you know. All it was, I just wanted the top of the mountain tip to stand out a bit. Just before the dawn. Well, yeah, that's okay. The problem is I'll be scared to turn it up the other way now. Just using this brush because it's got a nice point on it. That was somewhere else I went online the other day. Thought, oh, I could do with a new one or two new brushes. That was expensive morning as well. That I bailed out of. Let him go. Yours. This is a bit Christmassy, isn't it? You can see the way the paint, that isn't nowhere near that blue. I don't know what's going on there with the camera. Story. It's not that dark. Whatever. is the way the light's catching it. Because that on that screen that looks a bit ultramarine when it isn't. Nowhere near it. But you can see the paper's broken down.
Mm,
You can see all those white bits in it.
Yeah.
mm.
And that's the paper gone turning into blotting paper. And it's a real it happens when let's just use this hair dryer. It happens when the paper either hasn't had any coating on it, size, or it's lost it. And I think it's because it's never had any. I'm effectively painting on blotting paper. So to get any effect at all, amazing. I'll try that one. Remember, I've cast it in a different. This could be their finest hour. Never in the human art industry. No. In the field of art, there's so much been painted by. Where's me rigger? There he is. Just wanted to tidy him up. My little man. Bit of blue and burnt umber. It's just a bit watery. Tighten him up. Give him a little bit of a jacket. Tighten it up. And a big blob of yellow. I can get it so it's not too watery. Right on his back. Hopefully that will dry neat. And where's the brush? Where is it? Oh, there it is. Little mop. And I want to mix up a nice subtle burnt sienna. Got any burnt sienna? I have burnt sienna and a little bit of that cobalt blue. Should give us a nice subtle light dirty wash of grey. Lots of water, I think, this time. Yeah, just want to say before I do this that I'm ever so sorry. Oh dear. I'm just going there and up to there. Sweep it down and across there. And we get that colour and just go whoosh. Let's see if we can do some water, do some work. And down there. follow my pencil line wherever it is, and just let the water. Wow, it's going to fade back a little bit, even a lot. That bit, and there's a bit over here. This piece here. I'm going to go clean water down there, and try not to wash his head off. That's a shame about the paper at the top though. That's definitely lost the plot, hasn't it?
All white splashes all down it, like it's snowing.
There we go. Here we go. Need a little bit extra blue in it as well, to my mind. Just a little bit of colour. Anyway, over to you lot. You can have a go at this. Also, I wanted an early lunch.
We didn't
Yes.
get,
Eh?
but we didn't get one.
Are we off for time? I haven't really looked.
12:25.
Yeah, see? I said it was going to be a toughie.
Hmm.
And there's more.
Mm.
It's as it's drying, as it'll dry, you'll get more information, more stuff to do. The only thing I've got to do, the only thing that's annoying me on that, the overall thing's not too bad. I can live with that. I can like add a few, build this up as it's drying back with some more darks, you know, shaping some more boulders. It is a watercolor at the end of the day. I'm trying to get a solid color, and the watercolor is like silly because you ain't going to do it. It's going to fade back at some stage and not give you the solid color that you're after. So that compromise is always going to be in the mix. But the only thing that I'm going to have a whinge about later when I look back at it, these are going to dry back, so I'm going to get craggy lines there with a dry brush. The only thing that's really annoying me is there's a little bit just here around his head that when it's dry, I'll lift out so that his head stands proud. It shows up better. That's the only bit, but that's not down to me. That's down to the quality of paper. I know bad workmen and the tools and all that, but it genuinely is. The paper is, you can see there, look. I've lost it. So it's been a really good exercise in creating something reasonable with paper that is unreasonable. Yeah, I like it. But the blue, that is wrong. It isn't that colour. For example, if I take some raw sienna as a wash, you'll see the difference. The raw sienna will change it. No, it's not. There's something wrong here. Well, maybe it's just that colour. It's picking it up much too fierce. I can't put my hand on it. It's more of a grey. Oh, the mountain looks about right. Oh well, it'll come out in the drying. Right, I can sense that going across that mountain. Oh. That's been a hard morning's graph. That there, see, it looks better there. It's a little. It's not as. Oh, that's not too bad. Yeah, I was thinking. It's like it's snowing in the sky, doesn't it? Hmm. Hmm. I quite like that. Cobblers.
That looks good.
Never surrender. It's never our finest hour. I've let it dry a little bit, but still it's dried off quite well. Still feels a bit, I don't know what the word is really, but the paper is so bad. It actually feels a bit strange here. So what I'm going to do is have a little play this afternoon. Turn it up the other way for a minute. So I'm going to have a little go around this area. What I'm going to do, more classic, get some of this white. This is just ordinary Chinese, not Chinese, Japanese pass color, Shinzan. I'm just going to put a coat of white over my sky area. Try and avoid the see if I can fill in some of these papers. You can see there's a big piece of wood, for want of a better term. Stay with that. It's given me a solid base to work on, so I can try and fill in some of these, too much water, some of these horrible imperfections in the paper. Just give it a quick. In quite a bit. Bring it back. And then I'll put some, while it's still damp, we'll add a bit of colour. See what happens. See what effect I can have. Let's power it back. I trust a bit of board that I've been working off of. For initially, I'm going to stick with the turquoise, cobalt turquoise blue. It's a bit painting, a bit like painting in acrylics, but something has to be done. Couldn't just leave it. Wasn't right. Desperate measures. But the white acts like, makes it feel like an acrylic, so it's filled in some of those horrible imperfections in the. Put clean fresh water on. So I can blend this down a bit. The water will do that. I want it to get thin at the bottom. Oops, not that. But the white works quite nicely. Really didn't want that down, did I? Tissue, tissue, get the tissue out. There we go. I think I've discovered a new part of the mountain there. See what that looks like up the right way. Let him. That's a bit better. Definitely a bit. Not sure if I could get away with a little bit of pink in that sky. Just take the edge off the top part. Obviously, normally we'd mask it out. So, well, I've got a nice flat brush. Just try and get that. Should be able to lift some of this off. How much do I want to go? Brush away from the mountain. It's times like this that you start to realise how some paints stain worse than others when you're trying to lift them off. I'm going to look at now some of the whiter areas of the mountain. See if I can tidy them up. Should really dry it off, but there you go. You can get see if I can get a nice background sky feel here. Go across to where that is. Some sort, so it's cloud goes right the way across. Something up there. Soft. Just water and lift a bit off the bottom. Just doing it there. A bit better. Well, a bit better. It's a lot better. My next cool. Use this big brush. Oh, this one's water. That's over. This one's cleaner. Just want to take out some of the purple. Only problem with pink or Algerian crimson is that it does is a higher staining paint, more fugitive. So I'll be really struggling to get much of that out. That'll be okay. Now I'm going to add a lot of water to this bluey grey tint I've got in here. Find my nice little mop brush. Some nice tinty colour, and I'm actually going to add a bit of the tint, the bluiness. Just let it soak in, and then let it dry naturally. And then I'll come back with a rigger and try and add a little bit more oomph to it. Don't be surprised if I get just looking at it. Definitely got an urge to put some raw sienna in the sky. Sometimes you just got to go with your tummy feeling. I want it to be dirty. I don't want it to be nice. Keep my brush clean. Just a straight few drops of colour in there. And you see the brush is picking up colour as I move it across, but I'm not fussed about that. That's better. Well, I think so. Clean tissue, lift a bit more of that paint up here. Let it rest and come back. Dum, dum. See how bad that paper is? It's actually, when the paint's dried out, it's starting to come back, even though I've put different colours on it. That's such a shame, isn't it? Such a shame. Anyhow, all that work, and it's just not coming out, is it? Right. I'm going to mix up some more of the dark. Use that stiff brush, I think. Nice. Front number. Better off just pouring it into the dish, I think. And this blue, which is, goodness knows what blue, a mix of just about 4 or 5, I should think. Anyway, that will give us a nice something to start with. I'm just thinking I might just add a little bit more raw sienna to the tops of some of these. Oops, I've some. Let's put this card under here. Especially there's one I like to put just there. And this rock here can come right down. Yep, that'll do. Just going to add some of that dark on top of each one of those. Just to the bottom of it. And the same there. Just let it drizzle in. Nice little extra darks in. By putting their darks on, it'll make the foreground come towards us, which is what I'm lacking in at the moment. Sort of making it almost painting in reverse, aren't we? Because we're trying to make it look like there's some snow in between these rocks. Get more of the raw sienna. Just, where was I? Just a bit here. And I want this rock to join the one below, and the one below to get a bit bigger. Take the edge off the brush. That drizzle down. And this piece here is the similar. I think it's what I discovered earlier this morning, was if you paint the rock that you're going to make dark with raw sienna first, you get a sort of, shows you the area that you're going to put the darks on. Over there. See what I mean? And that can come, it'll be fine. Just there. Just cleaning my brush off every time, dabbing it off, and then getting the dark and just drop it in. Fizzle it around with a brush. And try and leave some of the raw sienna hint of it in amongst the dark. But as it dries, it'll look quite nice. There's a rock there as well. I'm going to put. Oh, that was my clean water. I'm just going to put some horse in here. Get rid of umbrella. Put that in. And it to go right down a bit. You see it? Really lovely how it turns into rocks. Bit on the edge there. Do Well, I said earlier, it's one of those sort of paintings you just got to keep teasing. It sort of evolves. Bit more in, put a bit more there. You can go up. Bit underneath. Nice blob of dark. What I'm trying to do is look at it in sort of sections. So like shapes, there's a triangle shape there. So work on that shape and then move across, as I was saying earlier this morning. Work on a bit and then just move. Do another bit, let that dry, sort itself out. I think we'll move that over. Piece from earlier, which was scraped with a knife. I'm just going to do something with that. Start there. Mix it a bit more burnt umber and blue. Drop it in. Pinkus. Memory loss. Keep getting that. Forget the area of picture, that part of the picture that I was working on. If I take my attention away, mixing up some colour. Bit of clean water under there, I think. Let that tease itself down, and a little bit of water. It's great fun, this. You're sort of making the landscape as you go along. Forces you to paint how you feel, right? Yeah. How you think you feel, how you see. I think all boards just falling off. I'm conscious that I want to leave this piece nice and faint, bright. Clean water over this piece. Well, isn't it nice and dark over here now? A bit more blue. Burnt umber. Just pop that in. It goes right up. Yeah, there's no snow there. Little blue. Just clean water on a dirty brush. So we can get some sort of an edge. Blue. Good way of cleaning the palette out this, because I'm just using a little bit of paint. Make that dark then. Clean water. On a dirty. Okay. Get in there slowly. Wednesday morning, so just going to do a few more tidy ups. This guy is so sad, where it's the paper's ruined it really. So we're going to have to address that. First off, though, I'm going to find a really stiff brush. Got some tissue. There it is. I think in the past I've called it the suicide brush, but it's not quite that. I just want to, I can see, just get a lift off some bits around the figure. Just a couple of, just clean water on that brush. Just want to lift it off. Damp with the tissue, just tighten up. So you always get something on a painting that's sort of really annoying. And that was it on this one. I said on the video yesterday. Just want to tighten the head up a bit. Pointy brush, yeah. I'll just that's a million times better. Well, a few times. Just clean water, make it damp, dry it up, dab it off with the tissue. And try not to go near it again once you've resolved it. We'll leave that alone there. The other thing I wanted to do was this morning find my palette before I get distracted. Rehydrate this, my paint. The old atomizer and have a go at a bit of tissue. Have a go at putting a bit more interest in the bottom here. Sticking with my methodology, raw sienna and sort of a bolder shape, and then drop in the blue and burnt umber, maybe a bit of raw sienna even. Let's try that. A variation on the theme. I've got raw sienna, a smidgen of burnt sienna, even though the brush has got loads of yuck in it, and then the real dark bit on top, just dropping it in. Really nice brush, this Terry Harrison golden detail. It's got a nice feel to it. Just drop some bit more blue, I think. So it's sort of inherently boring, but this sort of portion of the picture, because you're just painting individual rocks. Right. It's quite amusing. The dogs just can come in, sat on the bed, because you can hear a van or an engine outside. Every time he hears that, you think it's the postman. And I've got to pick him up, let him look out the window, just to see if it is. I'll have to hang on today. A bit clean water underneath that.
I'm just using the dark. Okay, not too much water floating everywhere. And just thinking boulders. So if I put I'll accentuate it there. A round sort of boulder shape colour. Take the edge off, clean water on the brush, and just go underneath the bottom and let it melt down, dissolve down. Is that the right term? Melt, dissolve. These are quite nice there. These middle distance rocks. I think a dog's probably going to bark at me in a minute. Just put a bit more into this. Needs to come down here like it's burnt umber. Just want it to fall down into this gully. It's just burnt umber on here at the moment. And the old shape seems to be nice. Just burnt umber. Just use to flatten the brush as well. Flick it up. Dark. Just thinking rocks really. With the really dark. Don't forget. We've got our secret really dark colour. Just put a nice little line of colour there. Clean water underneath. Try put some green. Variation on theme and a little bit of Australian crimson. That gives me a really dark. The problem is with watercolor, I'm never going to get a total black, and I don't want to either, for that matter. Put a nice wash of colour here. Oh, wrong water. I've got two buckets of water. One's yucky and the other's clean. So interspersing with my brush, I want water. Wash it off on the mucky water and then finish it off to get some clean water out of the other one. There. Not sure about this bit here. More there. Bit of burnt umber. Pink rocks. Let's put some boulders in. I gave up looking at the reference pictures some time ago because it's distracting. You're not going to be able to paint every individual boulder. Or do I want to? Clean water. Oh, cleanish. In the bottom. Just let this rest now. Maybe have a few little burnt umber into blue. A few little dark bits up here. Just trying to get some sort of continuity where it sort of flows up towards where the figure is. What I'm trying to achieve. Now, we'll let all that dry off. A bit of dry brush as well. Especially where the snow bits are. Still got a hint of cobalt, turquoise, and a little bit of pink. Gives me that sort of snowy grey shade. A bit in here and there. A bit more blue, I think. Don't it too pink. I'm happy I'm seeing. It's a watercolor at the end of the day. And next stage, I'm going to have a wash off that sky and just put blue on it, I think. But I have put some masking fluid on the tip of the the cake, the mountain. I'm just going to get some white. See if I can tidy this up. It's such a shame. I need some tissue, flat brush, smoothish flat brush. You get a nice blend of colour. Rehydrate it first. Might get away with just see what I mean? It's awful. So get some more white. Just a bit of Himalyas Shinzu, whatever it's called. Seems to be drying in the tube a bit. This using my flat brush, give it a good layer. So worried about the mountain because I've put masking fluid over it. I think I might just see if I can get away with just putting just blue. It's not my ideal solution, but here's some of the cobalt turquoise over the top. So I'm washing the brush off in water. In between, so that I don't get white all over the paint. It should. I think it's going to dry back nice. Find some a rich vein at the moment. I think I've run out of. Yeah, I've run out of pure blue. Oh, there it is. Bit of turquoise blue. So that's going to be my next paint order. Is some more of this. I seem to be using so much of it lately. Seems to be the Dave's in colour at the moment. Find a little brush and just put some streaks in. I have to keep cleaning the brush off because it's picking up the white. Paint a bit, stop. Paint a bit more. Solid paint. Bit of As I said yesterday, it's a bit like painting with acrylics. Doing it this way. It's the same sort of feel to it. Painting upside down is always fun, isn't it? That'll be. Let that dry off and see how we get on. I think I've improved the sky somewhat. Let's rub off this. It'll come off. Usually a sign that papers have it. It's when you try to get masking fluid on. It sort of welds itself into the paper. Not too bad. Come on. Most of it. Well, it's not as perfect a picture as I was hoping for, but it's not too bad. I'm going to have to live with that. My next plan is to just simply add a little bit more structure to the mountain. I've mixed up some, oops, turn that, a nice load of mountain tone, cobalt blue, cobalt turquoise, get it right, a smidgen of light red, I'm sorry, alizarin crimson. Hooray! Got it right that time. And simply just gonna start adding some information, some detail to my mountain. A little bit more. Just add some dark tones. Darker. All you can do really is look at your image and just go with the flow. Look at the shades, tone value, and add some mountain shadows. Bear in mind that just thinking about it, the light is coming from the right hand side, so see if we can. It's quite a large brush, this, but it is fading back almost as I paint it on. So with a bit more water, I think. I want this colour to last for a minute. See if I can get some on this edge. Just keep going, keep going. The way it dries will hopefully, well, I'm sure it will, make it look like millions of different tones. Shades of shadow. Just working from the top. Definitely a high ridge there. Comes right the way down, doesn't it? Go that way. it's not wet, the mountain, it's dry. So I'm working in a sort of a dry brush way. Wet on dry, I suppose you could term it, call it. Bit of rigor out in a minute. I'm just looking at the image and sort of roughly going with the image. And try and gradually build up some of these mountainous areas. I'm not sure about the right hand side, left hand side. Should know what that is because I'm a left-handed painter. You can see it gradually builds it up. I have to get a rigger and just tighten this ridge up. Lovely jubbly. Like a straight edge there, isn't there? Decorating a cake. Definitely a ridge along there. I'm just going to bit of clean water. So I can spread that. It's a little bit pinkier than I wanted it to be, but it's a shame. Go down a bit. But you get the gist of it. You just gradually build it up. Mix up a little bit more paint, maybe a little bit of blue and raw sienna. Sorry, burnt sienna. See if I can get a little bit more of a mountainous tone. Slightly change the theme. More of a neutral grey. Rigger. Sit down. And start adding a few extra. Start over. Oh, there's like a. Where is that ridge? No. There's a few extra darks, but you can do this as a suggested thing. We can do this forever because there's just so much of it. I'm going to have to put some there because of the sky, unless I put some white on later. Want it to get a bit dry. Decide where you've got a mountain ridge and go for it. It's a little jagged area there. I think I'll just do for that. Where is it? Sort of there, I think. Everyone's going to see this different. Their eyes, everybody's eyesight's brain coordination's totally different. So I think if you, well, what I'm trying to do anyway, is imagine, or remember that the light is coming from the right hand side, so the shadows are all going to be on the left. It's definitely like cake making. Icing a cake. I'm actually holding the rigger quite a high, low down, just letting it wiggle, just let it go, fall somewhere. Too dark over there, isn't it? Never mind. It's picking up the knot finish on the paper, so that's helping. So I can tease some out here. Fairly dry. I'm rushing a bit because I want to get this video uploaded before the end of today, so bear with me on that. Need something doing. You can find a little bit of depth. Raw sienna here. Very, very weak. Just going to put a few blobs of it on the side. Sort of gives it the, because the mountain's made out of stone. Oh, excuse me. I didn't use any bad language then. Just fell off the edge of the brush. Just a little bit of raw sienna on the really dark bits. Just to brighten it up, really. Make it look like there's a, could be gold. Oh dear. What a load of, whoops. That one didn't go so well, did it? Bit clean water there. Yeah, I can live with that. It's not my, as long as you get the gist of what we're at. There, I think. It's only till days later when you look at it, you suddenly realise, oh, I wish I did this. Needs a little bit of extra here and there. Just going to put something up there. Right, let's have a look at the boulders area. There's that lovely brush I was using over there. Still got my paint mixed up. Do a bit of fresh, a bit more blue. Burnt umber, loads of that. Want it to go too dry. It's no business like show business. I think I might warm it up with a little bit of burnt sienna. Just build up some more of these rocks. Boulders, rocks, boulders, call it what you like. Another one over here. That works. More sienna in that dark mix. Just warms everything up. Just rounding off the tops of some of these boulders. And adding a few more to it before I get bored and decide that I want to move on to the next picture. There's a little bit of raw sienna on here. Side's warmer. I think a little bit of burnt sienna. Little line of it here. Could be light red actually, but I haven't got any. Just to warm it through. I've got burnt sienna with lots of water. It goes quite light. Add a little bit of burnt sienna to it, raw sienna rather, woolly yellow. That'll warm it even more. It's too blue though. I'm starting to dither now, miss about. I think I'm going to call it a day here. Apart from one little element. After playing with all these bits of colour, I think I've earned the privilege, the right to just get the tube of white here and there, and my rigger, and put some pure white on the top of it. Wow, how many times has that I've fallen off the edge of the brush? This is where Chrissy's got her advantage over us with her lovely acrylic paints. I just wanted to stick some serious white on it, especially over here, this side. Just to add it. And again, you could spend quite a lot of time doing this. Once you start, it'd be difficult to stop, I suspect. I noticed that I've put much too much colour over this side, which is the light side of the painting. Water. So I'm just going to add some white over here. Hopefully it won't fade back too much. Some people would say this is cheating. Putting white on a watercolor needs must and all that. It's only a rigger, it's not a lot of white. And you can gradually build up the lovely mountain top. Put a little man up there if you like. Don't. Ah, dear. So really, in a funny way, this has ended up being painted in a sort of acrylic way anyway, by adding all this white at the end. Well, all this white, it's only a little bit. Just softens it all down, doesn't it? Brings it back a bit. I'm only using white on the bits that I can see. Like the gaps that I've created in my actual paint. Nice bit of snow here and there. What I did consider a few seconds ago is using a bit of white, off-white in the foreground. Some of these snow bits sort of dirty the snow up into blue, I think. Hint instead of hint, you know. Just warm it up. Blend the white down below with the white on the mountain a bit. Might work. few little globs of water. That's all I wanted it to. We'll get it away from him. I want it to go blurred. Sort of a blurry, whitey blue colour. Yeah. It looks frosty. I think that's the term I'm looking for. Misty, frosty. I think the only way of doing that is to, that's what I'm doing, is just use a little bit of this white that's on the side, just to frost it up a bit. Nah, just leave it, that's fine. Just put a little bit more close to it. Just on there, frost it. Just a smidgen of white. It'll dry back, reveal some of the dark bits underneath, so it's just make it a little bit more subtle, I think. Yeah, that's me done. Is it? Yeah, I think so. A bit more of that sort of dusting of. It's almost blurring the colour. The rocks, just making it a bit blurry. There is no blue. That's not on the picture, that's on the edge of the paper. Or is it? Oh, there is a bit of blue there, I don't want that. Go away, horrible. Okay. The more you look at it, the odder it becomes. The more the snow colour changes, it's becoming a bit bluey. That'll do. I need to go and see an exhibition. There you go. It's better than it was. And that's almost got rid of that now. Over to you guys. You have a go. It's blooming hard. Fiddly.
Another challenge.
Well,
Yeah.
it's all parcel of it, isn't it? I mean, if that was the sixth one I've done in the last week, it would it be that much different? I don't think it would actually. It might be a bit slicker here and there, but overall, we paint the way we paint. Watching that don't like the way we paint, you're mistaken. Oh, I don't know about you guys, I'm starving.
Yeah, I get a bit peckish now.
My tummy's feeling you don't feel, it's not like you're going to be sick, but it feels sicky. You're like, ooh,
Yeah.
give me a, don't know what to have today.
Got a choice then.
Right. The raw salmon went, this smoked salmon went yesterday. Trouble is, I think I'm having crackers, cheese crackers and spam, veggie spam,
Veggie spam.
vegetarian ham. Yeah, they're like
Oh.
thin sliced. It's all right. That's all I'm saying about it. Well, one of the things about sometimes when you're vegetarian is what do I have for sandwiches and things like that. You know,
Yeah.
when you're a meat eater, you know, a slice of ham, bit of pork luncheon meat, you know, all those doodahs, and there's loads of spreads and things to have. But vegetarian, it was never quite that simple because you can only eat blooming cheese, lettuce, and tomato so many times. When they come out with veggie spam, at least you had a little bit of variation. So that works all right. Yeah, so I think I'm going spam, crackers, cheese, spam, and a little dollop of pickle on Jacob's cream crackers.
Now you're making me feel even hungrier.
Yes. On that note,
That's
I'm
good.
going.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I think it's time to go and have some lunch.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that was interesting this morning, though.
We might need it.
Yeah.
I look forward to but it's not the sort of painting that you've got to get too serious about, you know. The portraits and that, they're naturally, you want to do it pretty good, you know, whereas those sort of things you can, if you want to splish splash and have a laugh, you can do it.
Yeah, look forward
I
to
think
it.
it'd be a laugh, but hey ho.
Look forward as usual to everybody's interpretations.
Yep.
Yeah.
You'll be having a laugh next week.
What's next week then?
Looking out.
Oh, looking at them.
Oh dear. Right.
Yeah, you'll have that laugh.
Yeah.
Okay then. Bye for now then, Dave.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah,
Bye.
thank you,
Bye,
Dave.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
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 Next week. Bye.
Bye.